Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
They step inside the line. Here's Kucherov, waits, shoots, scores! The first shot that Subban faces is in the back of the net, and it's Nikita Kucherov with his first goal since his return. Power play goal, 3-0 Lightning.
Oh, and there was a lot more of that later on in the game as Kucherov gets his first hat trick in 4 years, his fifth of his career, and the Lightning go on to a 6-1 win last night over the struggling of Buffalo Sabres. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at Palermo, PA, if you have any issues with stucco damage or construction malfeasance. He is your man, commercial and residential. Find him at Palermo, PA. We got so much to get into today. We got lots of fun stuff to get into. It's just on my mind. I don't want to go right out of the gate with this, but as good as the Lightning were last night, what happened at the Panthers game was so much more interesting. Don't you think? My co-host Nick Geddes, who scours Twitter for the most bizarre stories, brought me this one this morning.
Yeah, Kodak Black had himself a night down there in Sunrise, Florida.
Oh my God, it's some of the funnest video I've ever seen. He's just going to town on this lovely lady. She's bent over in a compromising position right there in the luxury box. People are filming it, all 12 Panthers fans that were there. The cop walks, he's having a conversation with a cop and doesn't even miss a beat.
And it's like kind of impressive stuff, isn't it?
Got great rhythm. The beat goes on, and I got a million of them. Just stay tuned for the whole show. I don't know what's funnier, the cop just having this casual conversation with him while he's banging this girl in the luxury box right out in the open. The owner's box is right next to him, and they're all looking over well, hi, well, what's going on over there? And they, who's that fella in the box? Oh, Kodak Black. What is that? Is that a new camera? I don't know. What's he doing over there? I don't know. Is that a new hockey move? I don't know. What is that? Does he get in the penalty box for that? I don't know. Someone should send the authorities over there. That's my old white guy owner voice right there. Oh my God. But anyway, we might talk more about that later. But the Lightning win last night, 6-1. Incredible performance. I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It is Buffalo, and they're struggling. They had a few guys out, but that was as dominant a win as I've seen. I mean, I almost felt sorry for Subban and whoever else got thrown in the goal there. I mean, it was just like a shooting gallery. I mean, and everything was like point blank.
They could have scored 10 goals. They could have scored 12 goals.
Easily.
I mean, they could have run that thing up. That was what the Lightning were doing to teams 2-3 years ago, right? That's what they were doing.
But what makes it impactful to me is just now that everyone's back for the most part, Kucherov, Pointer, and Stamkos, and you're adding the other guys, Corey Perry, which, now Corey Perry even looks better because he's such a great finisher with Kucherov making plays. I mean, the level of talent on this team right now is ridiculous. Now, we could say, look, they didn't look that good against Boston, and I would say that they looked okay. Vasilevsky was just not on his best that day. They just got a little out of hand. And the Lightning could have scored a lot more goals. But I think what we saw last night is just indicative of the ridiculous skill level that this team has. And they were literally toying with another NHL team last night. They were literally toying with them. And they could, even when they scored, they didn't even celebrate that much because it was kind of like, whatever. This is just really, really easy.
Just a random Tuesday night in Buffalo.
Just drop a sixer.
Quick little visit and get out of there.
Just drop a six-pack. We were supposed to play in New Jersey, do the back-to-back thing. We get rerouted, but it doesn't bother us. We just show up and just skate circles around everybody and win. This is going to be a very, very fun time. Now, I'm really, really looking forward to the stretch drive. And can you just imagine a team in this era of not only hockey but sports, where everything is so much more competitive, there's so much more parity, going back to back to back? I mean, with the Islanders and the Oilers and teams, these great dynasties. I mean, I think you could already consider this Lightning team a dynasty. I don't think there's any question about that. Having been to the finals so many times and now winning 2 in a row and odds-on favorite to do it again right now. I mean, this is the weird, and I say this all the time. I said this about Brady last year and this year. Soak this in, folks. This does not last forever. Things like this, the eras like this do not come along often. I mean, just look at the fact that this is the 8th home playoff game in the history of the Buccaneers. We haven't had a home playoff win since 2002, since Jeff Garcia was playing for the 49ers. I mean, it's crazy to think about.
You're saying stuff that's barely in like my time of being alive.
I know. It's like this just doesn't happen very often. So, Lord, soak up and enjoy the moments, and every moment that we get with this hockey team and this football team and Tom Brady. I mean, I guess it's kind of become a little bit more normalized now, but do not miss the fact that this is, and the whole Super Bowl thing kind of, it's kind of a one-off, and it wasn't even a full house of Buccaneer fans, and it was just different. I know that was in our house when we win the Super Bowl in our house, but it was just different. This is going to be a packed house with Tom Brady and Gronk, and what I love about this whole Antonio Brown thing, and I asked Bruce Arians this on Monday about it galvanizing the team. He kind of danced around a little bit, but you could really feel him saying, "Yeah, we got guys that are going to step up, and the guys understand what's going on." I really do think it has been a shot in the arm to this team to galvanize them, and that's what when you're going to back-to-back for back-to-back in the NFL. Your biggest problem is going to be complacency, and I think we saw that a lot this year, and to some degree with the Bucs. They didn't play with the intensity against some of these lower teams that they needed to play with it, and let's just be honest, it's human nature. It's impossible to play with that type of intensity for every game. But I just get the sense. That this team is coming together, and if they can get Levante David back, I think it's a huge if. Well, not if. I don't know anything about his injury situation besides it's a foot, and a foot injury this late in the season can be very problematic. So that's still a big question mark, and against a good running team, that's going to be a question mark. But otherwise, I feel good about where this team is.
I do as well, and I know this weekend we thought we were going to have really good weather, and it's trending towards I think 70% rain on Sunday during the game. And
no, I thought it was sunny and 68.
No, it's gone away now.
Oh, the front's moving in a little quicker.
A lot of rain coming in, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, the Eagles are the better running team; they have the advantage." I think that in today's game, snow, rain, cold, wind, teams are going to throw it.
Yeah,
they just throw.
You have to,
and I think in those conditions, I'm still going to roll with Brady all day over Jalen Hurts by a wider margin, especially in the rain.
Yeah, the rain is an interesting thing because the offensive players know where they're going, and it's easier to run routes I think it's easier to get open in the rain, to be honest with you. But catching and throwing sometimes can be a little challenging, no doubt about that. But it's not like running is so much. You've got to synchronize your running game, and they're doing a lot of ball handling. Jalen Hurts is doing a lot of ball handling. There's a lot of RPOs, and with RPOs, there is what they call the mesh point, right? And where the quarterback has to decide whether he's going to give it or he's going to pull it. And I did this in high school, so I have some experience with it. There's always a question mark in your head, and because you don't know what you're going to do, and it's a real feel thing with your running back. Like he's got to know, like when you stick it in his belly, it's time to go, and he's got to know when you're starting to pull it, it's time to carry out your fake. But it's an experience, it's a mesh thing. And when you got a wet ball, it totally totally changes everything. So the ball handling in that way, if you're reliant on a lot of mesh points, and it's raining and you got a wet ball, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, and that's why I say advantage Bucks there.
Yeah,
I already thought it was an advantage anyway, but I think that whole argument about it's going to rain, so whatever team runs the ball better has the advantage.
That's 1965 thinking.
Yeah, not even close in today's game. Not at all.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. So we're going to get to all this today. Bruce Gradkowski is going to join us at 10:30. We're going to go through all the playoff games with him from a quarterback perspective. That'll be fun. The way guys are playing and how they'll handle this. And boy, as you go through these playoff matchups, there's so many good ones. And I tell you what, like 2 years ago, we heard that, all the, Brady's career is coming to an end. Roethlisberger's career is coming to Rodgers, the elite quarterbacks in this league, who's going to take over? Well, I think we're in good hands. Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. It's just this league is just loaded with great quarterbacks, and they're all going to display in the playoffs. I think that's fun. I think that's really fun.
I think the old guys still got something to say about it.
And that's what's great about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great storyline. You got this new guard coming up with Mahomes and everybody else. And then, they got, Mahomes wins a couple of years ago. The old end, Brady holds on, we're not leaving just yet. And now you got, who are the odds on for the MVP? Two of the old guys.
Yes.
Rodgers and Brady, which, everybody's already given it to Rodgers. I don't see it that
The
way.
more I've thought about it, I don't think it's close right now. I don't think it's close. And I heard a lot of people saying earlier, it's not even close in favor of Rodgers. If anything, I think it's in favor of Brady.
And you brought up a good example of this has now just become the quarterback award, like the Heisman.
It is. That's why sometimes I take MVPs with a grain of salt at this point. It's always who's the two best quarterbacks in the league. We just had TJ Watt set the all-time sack record. Cooper Kupp came damn near from getting 2,000 receiving yards.
Right.
Last year, Derrick Henry had 2,000 yards. Jonathan Taylor pushed for that this year. Those guys won't even get a vote.
Yeah.
Won't even get a vote.
That's crazy.
And,
that's just ignorance of football.
And if
really.
you take all those guys, by the way, the Steelers are in the playoffs because
yes.
of their front seven, specifically TJ Watt. The Rams take Cooper Kupp out of the fold.
Oh my God, forget about it.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
And the Titans, I understand they were good without Derrick Henry, but let's be real here. That team runs through him.
And here's the other thing. Cooper Kupp, like every game, they're scheming to stop him. And he comes up with 12 catches for 140 every game. And they're scheming to stop him every game. Same with Jonathan Taylor. Got to stop Jonathan Taylor. Oh, sorry, just ran for 198.
Do you see the Colts offense when they don't give him the ball, by the way?
It's awful. It's awful. And by the way, when you look at Strahan's record, what is that, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
20 years ago. Think about, I know they had the throwaway back then, but how easy it is right now for a quarterback to play the position where you could throw it away. The guys can't hit. The guys coming after you can't be as aggressive because they know if they touch your helmet, you're going to get a penalty. If they land on you, you're going to get a penalty. So you not only have to sack the quarterback, you have to sack him in a certain way where you have to lay him down gently it makes it much tougher to get a sack. It's almost impossible to get a sack these days. And you break the record, even with an extra game, I don't care.
Hey, he played 15 games.
That's right. He played 15 games.
15 games and got 22 and a half sacks.
So, yeah, I'm in total agreement. That needs to be a little bit revamped, no doubt. All right, so we talked about this a little yesterday at the end of the show. Charlie Frago, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Frago from the Times did a story. Tampa Bay. The title is Tampa Bay CEO's pen letter supporting Ray's split season about the fans. Subheadline: A letter to the Tampa Bay Times signed by more than 3 dozen prominent heads of companies outlines their support of a split season with Montreal and a stadium in Ybor City. And I've been talking to a lot of the leaders and movers and shakers over the past 24 to 48 hours on not only the penning of this letter, but what the response is going to be. And we put it out yesterday on social media that we are starting a fans initiative called Save Our Rays Full Season. We thought that was the best title for many different reasons. Save, obviously, this is a perilous situation. We could lose our team because of our very greedy owner. Save Our Rays, they're not necessarily Stu Sternberg's Rays. Okay, he owns the team. I get it. He has the majority control, but these teams belong to the fans because the fans have the power. The fans have all the power. They have the voting power to tell our political leaders, hey, listen, if you spend $350 million or $400 million of public money, even though it's not general fund money, we understand it's going to be hotel tax money and other things that aren't allowed to be used necessarily for roads and schools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even with that qualification, spending any public money for a half season is complete folly. It's complete folly. It's irresponsible politically. It's irresponsible fiscally. And by the way, I have a very good feeling that when these, when the Tampa Sports Authority puts out their recommendations, and they're going to be putting out a full season plan and a half season plan, and you're going to see, or they're going to tell you that we've run the numbers on the half season plan and it doesn't work. And that's completely obvious. That is completely obvious already. And I know that the Rays have done a good job of snowballing a lot of people with their smoke and mirrors sister city campaign. We've debunked all their false narratives many times. We'll do it again if we have to. But they've been successful, I think, selling this to some people with the whole qualifier that you're going to get half or you're going to get nothing at all. And this is where everybody caves. You're going to get half or you're going to get nothing at all. But here's the other part of that false narrative. Getting half is complete folly because it's going to fail. It's going to fail miserably. I was talking about this the other day. And think about this in practice, okay? Let's say we get this thing built and we're doing half a season, all right? In April and May, we're going to have baseball here in Tampa Bay. You know what happens in April and May? Lightning playoffs. And as long as 88 is in our net, and I know this stadium may not be built for another 4 or 5 years, as long as 88 is in our net, the Lightning are going to be good, and they're going to be contending. And, Kucherov will be at that point, 20 or 32, 33? I mean, with this, do we think the Lightning are ever going to go away with the core that they have right now? That might be the tail end of their dynasty. But, folks, the Lightning are always going to be there, and they're almost always going to be in the playoffs. And what happens in April and May when they're in the playoffs? Nobody gives a rat's ass about the Rays. They're not watching the Rays. They're not going to the games. It happens every year. So think about that. We only get 2 months of our Rays in our beautiful ballpark we just spent $400 million on, and nobody really cares. And plus the fact that when you abandon your market like you're going to do, and clearly anybody who's listening, the fans, knows that no fans do not want this. I mean, I've seen every poll. I've seen unscientific polls, and I guess the mayor did a poll, a scientific one, and I think maybe even the Times did one. And I'm sure it shows that 85% of the people, and it all depends on how you ask the question too. I'm sure 85 to 90% of fans do not want a split. Who wants a split season? Now, if you say, well, it's a split season, half or nothing, would you take it? I mean, that may change the question a little bit. But the bottom line is you're going to lose most of your fans. And if nobody's showing up at the ballpark and everybody hates the Rays and you just spent $400 million and the ballpark's just sitting there because you have an owner that you hate, that you don't want to patronize, and you have a team that has abandoned you. The players don't want it. No, the players union, nobody wants it but these owners. Nobody in the Montreal fans don't want it. They want a full season. And this is what I heard. It's a failed choice. It's going to fail dramatically. Do you want to be the mayor or the county commissioner that approves this scheme that's going to do nothing but just make money for Stu Sternberg in terms of TV contracts and waste this money that we could use to maybe put a roof on Raymond James like they did at the Hard Rock, or update that stadium because the Bucs are going to be asking for a new stadium soon? I'd rather give that money to the Bucs and put a update Raymond James, put a roof on, or whatever we got to do. I mean, because at least they're staying here and they're committed to Tampa Bay, not this guy. And that's what, there's so many parts of this thing that I just think that the people that signed this letter are just not cognizant of. It's going to fail. And in the article, Charlie Figo does quote us. Thank you very much. And he actually quoted us kind of ripping the Tampa Bay Times, which I thought was very interesting. But that's good journalism, by the way. That's good journalism. At the end, and by the way, we're going to get Tampa City Council member Luis Vieira on, because he was quoted in here as well. Says the proposal to share baseball with Montreal needs more than a backing of the establishment. It has to win popular support. And this is what we've been talking about. What about the fans? What about the fans? The letter, Vieira said, quote, deserves a certain level of deference as a demonstration of the support by business leaders for the idea. He continues in the quotes here. The good majority of people I talk to are not excited by the idea. And that's putting it mildly. As Frago continues, the city council and Hillsborough County commissioners likely would have to vote on any public financing of the proposed stadium. True. This is all stuff we've told you by the way, many times. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor has said a financial package is being drawn up in conjunction with the Tampa Sports Authority and county officials. Once an announcement is made and a cost estimate is released, including how much taxpayer money is involved, public opinion could change, Vieira said. That's a little hint, by the way. The Rays also would need the approval of Major League Baseball for splitting the season. There you go, folks. Stu Sternberg can't do this on his own, and the owners are not showing any inclination to give him the right to the territory. They could have done it at the players' meeting when he went up and did his dog and pony show. I mean, at the baseball winter meetings in Chicago. And what did they say? We're tabling the motion. We're not going to allow you to do it. They could have said yes, but they didn't. Frago continues. Local social media was abuzz with the idea over the weekend as news of the letter in Saturday's edition spread. Local sports talk personality JP Peterson, who is adamantly opposed to the split season concept, said on his podcast that he wants to organize a protest march in Ybor City to signal fans' unhappiness with the idea of the Rays heading north after spring training and the first few months of the regular season. Quote, "We need thousands to make a statement," Peterson said on the podcast, adding the fans are overwhelmingly against the idea. Is this news to people? I think it is. He continues to quote us, the timing has to be right on the march. It was shocking the amount of powerful people who signed on to this. He believes that they've been hoodwinked by false narrative, in part created by the Tampa Bay Times, which he said has towed the line with Stu the entire way. Swinging popular sentiment in favor of the idea ultimately lies with the team, Vieira said. They bear that burden. And this whole idea, this whole concept that the more they talk about it to the fans, the more they're going to like it. No. Like the more you try to force vaccines down the throats of the people who haven't taken it yet, the less they're going to do it. I mean, this is kind of obvious, isn't it? Fans do not want this. And it's obvious fans do not want this. And by the way, who in the national media, have you seen Buster Olney? Have you seen any of these national, the caretakers of the game, so to speak, the Tim Kirchens of the world? Have you seen them give this idea any credence whatsoever? No. And this is the thing. If we can organize and mobilize, which we are doing, we're going to have this march in Ybor. I'm saying the time frame is probably going to be right about the start of spring training. So I would say somewhere in the end of February, a Saturday in the end of February. And we're, yesterday I'm talking to a lot of different people. I believe we're going to have some former players. I don't want to announce any names until everything's a little bit more solidified. We're going to have political leaders joining us, former players joining us, but we need you, the fans. We need you, the fans, to show up in the thousands. And this is going to be a fun time. We're going to rally at a point. I'm thinking maybe at the K-Force building where they want to build the stadium. We've got to get permits and all that stuff. It might have to be at a public park, wherever it is. We're going to meet there near Ybor City at a public park. We're going to have a rally. We're going to have fun. We're going to have swag. We've got sponsors for this stuff. We're going to do it up, and then we'll do a pub crawl through Ybor City. That'll be fun, right? Little rally, Rays rally, and we'll go through, do a little walk down 7th Avenue and patronize some of the businesses and kind of, give them a flavor of what it's going to be like to have thousands and thousands of Rays fans walking down 7th Avenue. Talk about a revitalization for Ybor City. I mean, we all know what Ybor has become, right? It's become this late night place that nobody wants to go to, unless you're of a very younger demographic. And that's a shame, because that is a treasure. That is a treasure that can be so easily revitalized and made a little bit more mainstream. Am I being fair to the younger generation? I mean, we don't want to take over your Ybor City, but we could make it a little bit nicer, more mainstream.
I mean, you probably have to get the pulse of somebody else that's younger, because I don't go out.
You don't hang out.
But
in Ybor.
I tell you what, though, if I'm going out, though, you go out, where Soho is, in South Howard.
Yeah,
that's where most people go. I think it's an entirely different younger demographic, maybe, that goes out to Ybor. But me, I don't feel safe going over there. And I think that's kind of the stigma I get right now from Ybor.
Yeah, and there's going to be, around the new stadium, there's going to be a whole different entertainment zone around that. More restaurants and bars and residential and everything. It's going to be a great revitalization tool. But folks, you can't do if this is done with a half season, it's going to be kind of a fog over the whole damn thing. There's still going to be if you approve this, political leaders, you're still going to have a bunch of fans, because I heard them on everybody that comes on social media. They're like, listen, even if they build the half season anew, I'm not going. I'm not supporting the team. I mean, you hear that everywhere. So what is the point of doing that? It's just not a good idea in any way, shape, or form. But we have to be now. Look, this is these are things that powerful people can push through. If the fans aren't awake, if you don't show up and you don't make your voice heard, then they're just going to go, we can get away with this. This is no big deal. We'll push this through. It'll advantage a few elite people. But for the most part, nobody cares. No, that's not. We do care. We are passionate about our team. And if you do the half season thing, you wreck it. It's not going to work. The people will disassociate themselves from the Rays, and you're just going to be like a horrible orphan just sitting in the middle of Ybor City that nobody wants to be attached to. And that will be your legacy, political leaders. That will be your legacy, a big white elephant sitting there that nobody wants to go to because you did it in some cockamamie way. Don't do it. Help me help you, all right? And if Stu wants to pick up his team and leave, he doesn't just have the prerogative to do that. MLB has to approve it. LBPA has to approve it. And who wants to leave a market that's exploding like this? Everybody's coming here. I mentioned this yesterday. How many ownership groups in baseball you think would like to trade their market for this one? Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Kansas City? Hell yes. Every one of those owners would do it in a heartbeat. And they'd probably pay for the whole stadium themselves, because they know they would have control of it and could make more money. But not this guy. This guy has no connection, no emotional connection to this area, and just wants to play this area like he's done it forever. And I don't want to get personal with Stu, but that's the way he runs his business. And we got to call it out. Other people, look, 620 is not going to call it out. They're not going to lead the fans' resistance to this. No, they're betrothed to the Rays. They're betrothed to the Rays. You say anything bad about Stu over there, trust me, you're getting called into Mamola's office. They can't tell you the truth over there. They might act like they're against the sister city plan, but they're not going at it like we are. You're not going to get the truth. Not disparaging the guys over there. I get it. Look, they want to keep their jobs. I get it. It's just the Times. Yeah, thanks for printing this. I appreciate you including us, and even saying what I said about the Times. I think that's kind of brave. Even if it is at the bottom of the story, as they always put it. But look, it is what it is. They have Times, they have the big sports station in town, but we are on the right side. And I'd rather be on the right side than have the elites and the powerful and all that. I'd rather be on the fan side. And if we lose, so be it. We're going to go down fighting. But at least we can sleep at night. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Bruce Gradkowski will join us, and we'll talk some NFL playoffs. So many good quarterbacks in the postseason. We'll break down all the games, and of course, we will start with the Bucs and the Eagles. Stay with us.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker who will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott. Got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Hey, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com. If you have any issues with your homeowner's insurance company or construction malfeasance, he's your man, palermopa.com. All right, let's check in with our good friend Bruce Gradkowski, former Buccaneers quarterback, and of course, many, many years in the league, and now lead analyst for Pro Football Focus. Well, my friend, how are you?
What's up, brother? I'm doing good. How you doing?
Were you on the I should have checked this beforehand. Were you on the 07 Buccaneers team that went to the playoffs, or had you departed by then?
Yeah, no, I was there with Jeff Garcia.
Yes. All right.
We lost to the Giants, right?
Yes.
And that's the year they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Brandon Joseph, that big running back. Was that his name? Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah.
Brandon
Jacobs. Yeah.
I remember I was doing a sideline for Westwood One that game, and one of my assignments was post game to do an interview with him, and I walked up to him on the field, and I was just like, "Holy shiz, this guy's freaking gigantic! How the hell would you want to tackle that dude?" And
Is it he's like that. Cam Newton's another one. When you see him in person, you're just like, wow, this dude is just the way he's built. It's unbelievable, man. And I I envy those guys because I would love to be that big, man, to be like a physical freak. But it just wasn't in my cards.
No, me neither. And he wore those big shoulder pads too, and made him look bigger. And it just he had a couple touchdowns that game. It was a rough game for the Bucs that day.
Well, you know what's funny too is Kenny Chesney was at that game because John Gruden was a huge Chesney fan, and he's in the locker room before the game or on the sideline. I remember tossing in my hat like, "Here, man, here you go." Meanwhile he's got probably like access to anything he wanted. But it was pretty cool him being around and. Because I'm a Chesney fan. I love his music.
Me too.
Not a huge country guy, but
yeah. And he's coming to Ray J in March, I believe. So we'll have to get him on the show, and I'll ask him like, "What is your most prized possession?" He'll clearly go, "Oh, my Bruce Gradkowski Bucks playoff hat, of course."
Well, work on those backstage passes for us, and I'll meet you out there.
It's 10-4 on that. I think we can get that accomplished. All I have to do is use your name, and I'm good. For me only, no. But I'd throw you in the mix. I might have a chance. All right, so let's talk. So the Bucs are going to play their first playoff game since then in Raymond James Stadium. Super Bowl doesn't count. It was a neutral site thing, and it wasn't all Bucs fans. So can you believe that? That was the last time we had a playoff game in Raymond James Stadium. You were here. That's how long ago it's been.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's insane.
Last
That's
time we
insane.
won a playoff game in Raymond James was 2002 against, oddly enough, Jeff Garcia and the 49ers. It's been 19 years since we won a playoff in Raymond James Stadium. So,
you know what's crazy is the common denominator. Jeff Garcia was a starting quarterback in that stadium for both times the playoff game was played.
Yeah. How about that? And everybody just wanted to talk to his wife. I mean, let's just be honest about that. She's beautiful. All right, so let's get down to football here. And so the latest forecast is for a little bit of rain for this game, 1:00 on Sunday. And, I think people think, automatically, that will definitely be good for the running team. But when you're talking about the Eagles offense, where they do a lot of mesh points with the running backs, right? A lot of ball handling, wet ball. You take me through that. Who would have the advantage in that particular scenario?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I'm the Eagles, that's ideally what I would want. I'd want a wet game. I mean, I know there's a lot of ball handling and stuff, but they're one of the best running teams in the National Football League, so that's not going to change their game plan much. But on the other side, if Tampa can't get it going, they can't get their passing game, it could change the dynamic of the game a little bit.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see. The thing that with the Bucs, that's we have seen, especially the last few weeks, is they don't start off super hot, but once they get in their flow, they're just a good football team. They find ways to win. So you don't get too high or too low with this team when you're watching them. I mean, you have to understand, look, we'll battle through some of these tough times, this rough patch, but then we'll get in our groove just like they did, last Sunday. And they find ways to win, which I'd expect them to do in this game. But I do think, man, you got to look at the Eagles, the way they run the football. Defensively, they're not like a blitz-heavy team, but if they could get pressure with that front four on Brady a little bit, that's just going to be a dynamic we have to watch.
So in the rain, is there any advantage to the offensive team because they know where they're going from running routes? Brady's obviously in every situation. You do think it would hamper them some, though? Obviously.
Well, it honestly just depends, like the heavy rain. Sometimes for quarterbacks, a little damp day is like perfect because the ball, there's just enough grip on it.
Gotcha.
So sometimes those days that it's just a little misty out, it's like a perfect day to throw the ball around.
Yeah.
But then when it's just a torrential downpour and it's consistent, it's miserable, man, because you can't exchange the ball fast enough from the sideline to get a new ball in there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have a point. I mean, at least the offense knows where they're going.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage. But everyone is playing on the same slippery field. And I'll tell you this, though. I mean, honestly, like when you play on like a natural surface like grass, when it's a wet, cold, or, snowy day, it honestly slows the game down a little bit. And I remember Tom Brady saying, and I remember even myself, in those games, like a snowy day, the game felt like slower because the pass rush couldn't get after you as fast.
Oh, good point.
So that's an advantage to the offense in a sense. Brady might not feel like that rush is on him as quick if it's rainy and slippery out. So that might give him an advantage.
All right. Well, and typically, Florida rain is stop and start, right? It's not torrential downpour the whole game, and I don't think that's what this will be. So I don't think it'll have that much effect. And if it does, and if we're just talking about it, it's neutral for both teams. How do you see this playing out? And Jalen Hurts specifically, he didn't play last week. He's been, an ankle injury. So much of his game is running, and if the Bucs can get. And they're going to get Shaq Barrett back. They're going to get JPP back. Levante David is still a little iffy, but how do you see that matchup?
Well, I think, I've been impressed just with this Eagles football team. I mean, think where they were in the offseason, firing Doug Peterson, trading Carson Wentz, just unsure where this organization was going to go. And I'll tell you what, I've always been impressed with Jalen Hurts from Alabama when he got benched for Tua. He had to, He kind of swallowed his pride, was a good teammate, transferred to Oklahoma, learned a new offense, had a great year, and then coming out for the draft. I remember great in his Senior Bowl game and practices, and watching him just continually get better. And then all of a sudden, I watch him at the combine, and I'm like, man, his footwork looks cleaner. I could tell he's been working on it. He looks better here. And then at his pro day. So every step of the way, I saw the guy continue to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mix that with his background and then mental adversity he had to face through college and transferring and all that. I have a lot of respect for him and appreciation for him. So I like guys that are battle tested. So for me, and then watching this season and how it unfolded, it's not like he played perfect, but I think he's a good leader in that locker room. I think he's a competitor. I think he's a winner. And so you do have to give him credit for what the Eagles have been doing this year and for their success to back players. I mean, I think this has been a cool journey for them this year. So you have to, hang your hat on that. And also, like I said, give them credit, not take this game lightly if you're the Bucs.
Oh, hell
because
no.
this is an Eagles football team. Look at the game during regular season. That was a close one.
Yeah.
So I think, Tampa's going to have their hands full, but I think, being the better football team, they'll find a way to pull it out like they did this season.
Bruce Gradkowski joining us here. He's the lead quarterback analyst for Pro Football Focus, former Buccaneer. Can we go through each one of these tough games? Just do a minute and a half each one, partner, just from a quarterback standpoint.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it chronologically. We'll start with the Saturday 4:30 game, the Raiders at the Bengals. I think a great quarterback matchup here with Derek Carr, the way he's played, and the walk-off wins that the Raiders have had, the resiliency of this football team, Rich Bisaccia, leading this team, which I said after they lost Gruden, watch, they'll be better. And they get to the playoffs. It's a great story. But here's Joe Burrow and this, these weapons. I really believe this group is going to win a Super Bowl at some point. May not be this year, but this is a great quarterback matchup. Talk about that.
Well, I just think about preseason training camp. I'm doing a show radio at Bengals camp with Solomon Wilcox, and we're interviewing Joe Burrow. And I love the guy's poise, his moxie, his confidence. And I get off with him, and we get off with, Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin. And I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, man, I don't know if the Bengals are there yet, but gosh, I'm a believer. I mean, just everyone in that building, just the confidence they have in Burrow, just the way he talks and just believes. I'm just like, wow. So I just really appreciate that about him, because I do think he has that Brady type effect in the locker room on teammates to elevate others around him. And then you match that up with the weapons they have. This has been a fun Bengals football team to watch, to be honest. And then with Derek Carr and the Raiders, I mean, defensively, they've been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Gus Bradley's been doing a good job, defense coordinator. I've liked the last few weeks how he's kind of orchestrated some blitzes to get after the quarterback. They're playing pretty well on the back end. So, yeah, they gave up some big ones to Herbert, but, I mean, Herbert's pretty special.
Yeah,
so I would think this is going to be a really good matchup. I think it's going to come down to, Carr's got to play better. Carr, the thing that's impressed me the last few weeks is he's able to make plays when they need it, situational football. Not that he's playing perfect all the time, but when they need it, he's making those plays happen, and that's what he's done the last 2 weeks, and that's what I've been looking for and waiting for Carr. So it's going to come down to what quarterback plays better. I mean, it sounds simple, but in actuality, that's what it is. And Burrow gets a home playoff game. Cincinnati hasn't won a first-round playoff game in quite some time. So this is going to be a pretty cool matchup.
All right, let's look at the Patriots and the Bills. Saturday night, 8:15, going to be 0 to 5 degrees, 14-mile-an-hour winds expected for this one. Not quite the 50-mile-an-hour we saw earlier matchup. So I think, Josh Allen's still going to be able to throw the ball. I just get after watching the last matchup between these two teams, I just think this is the Bills. But you never want to count out Belichick. He's got something special from a scheme standpoint.
Yeah. Well, and that's the X factor there, Belichick. But it is hard for me to go against Josh Allen, this Bills team, in that kind of temperature and that cold weather, just because that's Josh Allen. That's why the Buffalo Bills drafted him. that's why he is their guy and why he could do, because he's a big physical quarterback. He's tough. He can sling that football no matter the weather. And I think when it comes down to it, he's going to be able to make more plays than Mac Jones in that Patriots offense. So if the Bills can stop the run and put it in Mac Jones' hands, I think the Bills walk away with this one.
I agree with you on that one. The over-under is 44 on that one, but, with weather games, you just don't know. All right, let's move to Sunday. Obviously, the game at 1 o'clock. We talked about Bucs and Phillies. Let's talk about San Francisco and Dallas, 4:30 on Sunday. A lot of talk about Jimmy G not being able to get it done, and Dak's been in a little bit of a slump, picked it up late in the season. How do you see this quarterback matchup?
Yeah, I think, I've been impressed with Jimmy G, especially last weekend. Him coming back, big win. You always expect Jimmy G to have a few, turnover-worthy plays or boneheaded decisions in a game. But, man, I like the way he's playing. And, Dak, to me, has struggled a bit at times this season. He hasn't been on par as far as I'd like him to be. But that Dallas defense is tough. I'm telling you what, I think the Niners go in and get this one in Jerry Jones's house. I think it's going to be tough, but I almost have more confidence in this Niners offense, the game plan with Kyle Shanahan going into this game.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting part of it, the coaching matchup and how they play that. I don't know. Dallas is just – it seems like they're just so arrogant about being so great, and I don't think they're that great. And I think San Francisco plays a physical style of football that I don't know. I would if I'm Dallas, I wouldn't be very confident or overconfident. All right, let's go to one that's close to your heart, Pittsburgh and Kansas City. And the Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites in this one for the 8:15 game on Sunday night. And given what we saw a couple of weeks ago, this Roethlisberger is a great story, but I don't see them hanging with the Chiefs here. What do you see?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, we could look back to the last game. We could look at, where Big Ben is right now. But, I mean, the guy's a winner. He won the last two games. This is basically it for him. And Kansas Steelers team keep it rolling. I mean, the biggest thing, and these games aren't pretty all the times, but when you need plays to be made, can your quarterback make them? And Ben did that in Baltimore to get the win. He did that the previous week. He's going to have to make a lot more plays against this Kansas City offense and this football team. Can they do it? It's on the road, tough environment. I will never bet against a Mike Tomlin, Big Ben football team. It's just too hard, man. I mean, because I've been in that locker room. I know the grit and determination those guys have, the mental fortitude, just, how they approach each and every game. So I'm interested in this one because a lot of people are like, this is the least exciting game. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know. TJ Watt, I mean, he's a game changer. All of a sudden you get around Mahomes, you get a few, turnovers. It's a different ball game.
Make him feel uncomfortable. That's one thing Pittsburgh can do. But, hey, maybe Roethlisberger's got a little magic left. We shall see. All right, finally, Kyler Murray going up against Matthew Stafford. The Rams are 4-point favorites at home on a Monday night. This should be a really fun game to watch. And, a lot of people are talking about the good and the bad of Matthew Stafford. It's playoff time. He's got a lot of pressure on him. What do you think?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one for sure. I mean, we look at Arizona, how they exploded on the scene all season long and then kind of tailed off at the end. And, and then, Stafford, I mean, this is why they brought Stafford to L.A. to win a Super Bowl, not just get to the playoffs. So this is when he's got to be on his best game. He hasn't played great the last month of the year, but he did make some, key plays when they needed. A big comeback, come from behind win a few weeks ago to put a drive together. There's just a few decisions and throws if Stafford can kind of eliminate that. Look, he can do it just like the best of anyone out there right now, Stafford, and you team him up with McVay. So that's where my confidence lies, and I want to see it happen. I think the Rams' defense is good. I just don't think Kyler Murray in Arizona's legit there yet. I mean, I love what they've done. I don't know if they're there yet. But look, Arizona got their number early in their season bad.
Yeah.
You just wonder what AZ team shows up.
Yeah, they're a little inconsistent. All right, buddy. Before you go, how fun was it to watch Stetson Bennett prove all the doubters wrong on Monday night in that national championship game? An underdog story like that, I know you loved it.
Oh, I always love underdog stories. That's one thing that's cool. And I mean, honestly, that's why we throw it out. That's why we blow the whistle. Because you got to play the games. We could do all the analyzing we want, but at the end of the day, who shows up?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about. So I look at, this Philly game. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You got to show up. You got to stop the run if you're the Bucs.
Damn right.
You got to make plays offensively. When you talk about the Steelers and the Chiefs, I mean, yeah, if I'm the Chiefs, I don't like that. There's too much noise about the Chiefs are going to blow them out. You got to handle business on the field in between the white lines. And, there's a lot of good players getting paid as well. TJ Watt, don't let him get going. So I love that. So I love seeing those underdog stories come from behind wins. So I'm one that always cheers for those type of stories because I love watching them.
All right. It's going to be fun this weekend, my friend. Appreciate your analysis. We'll check in with you next week. We'll see how accurate you usually are.
All right,
I'm with you on
have
all
a good
of it,
week. Good luck.
Thanks, partner. Appreciate it. The great Bruce Gradkowski right there. If you can read between the lines for your betting favorites there. Clearly he likes Pittsburgh in the 12 and Arizona getting the 4. We'll have to make our picks later in the week, but I like a few of these underdogs. The Bucs are 8.5-point favorites against the Eagles.
8.5.
That's a lot.
I don't like these. Did this when they did this to the Saints with us? They gave a big favorite. I don't like those.
Yeah, but it's playoff Brady.
It's playoff Brady.
The Bucs margin of victory at home is about 33-17.
Yeah, completely different team at home.
And on the road, it's 27-24. They score almost a touchdown more at home. Defense is better.
By the way, speaking of playing a home game, if my memory serves me correctly, for home playoff games back in the day, did they used to do the battle flags around the entire stadium, right?
I believe so,
with the red end zones.
Yeah.
Are we going to get that? We better be getting that on Sunday.
Yeah,
and remember, I think they used to pass out the flags, right, to all the fans, and it would be that great scene of just red throughout the entire stadium.
That's interesting. I haven't heard anything about the plans for the playoff game.
I'm hoping so. I've seen the video from the Super Bowl days when that game hit San Francisco.
I think there's a call to Mr. Brian Ford in the offing to get the president. He's always good at coming on talking about what the fans are going to do this week or what they got for the fans. They're going to have something really special. It's a special day. I mean, this hasn't happened in a long freaking time.
I haven't checked ticket prices, but I'm sure it's a hot ticket right now to get.
Let's do that in the break. Let's see what the tickets, because we heard yesterday or on Monday from Sal Pal Antonio, that ticket brokers in Philly are going nuts. There'll be Eagles presence here. This is as much as we we rag on them as being just the most uncouth fans in the NFL. They are passionate. And they will show up. Eagles fans will show up this week. But Buccaneer fans, we said, look, I don't mind you selling your tickets in the regular season, make a little money. The reason you sell them in the regular season is to buy them in the playoffs. And just because they're Eagle fans here doesn't mean, by the way, that Bucs fans sold their tickets. A lot of brokers bought up these cheap upper deck season tickets and have made a lot of money this year. So those are ticket brokers. I'd probably say 40% of the upper deck is probably ticket broker purchases. There's going to be, I'd say there's probably going to be 20% Eagles fans. I would bet.
That's fine. Yeah. And because this year, honestly,
that means 80% Buck fans.
The Bucs have done a really good job, I think, compared to recent years of getting that stadium filled with Bucs fans. And I'm just saying, it's Philly week, just like we said during the Thursday night game. No Philly cheesesteaks.
No.
None of that stuff.
No.
Have a Cuban.
I'll be ordering Philly cheesesteaks this week.
Are you a Cuban fan or a Philly cheesesteak? Which you rather have?
Well, a good Cuban is way better than
Trumps a Philly cheesesteak any day of the week,
right? Yeah. And I've always said this about Philly. That is again false narrative. Now there's some great places in Philly to get Philly cheesesteaks, but Geno's and Pat's, the most famous ones, they're tourist traps now. They're tourist traps. And and if you're going to put Cheese Whiz on a Philly cheesesteak and think it's a good idea, you're wrong.
That's a gimmick.
You're wrong.
That's a gimmick. You don't know cheese.
We're
Italian.
It's not cheese.
It's
not Cheese Whiz. Like somebody whizzed in your cheese. That's how bad that stuff is. That ain't cheese. But you're going to put it on your famous cheesesteak. It's nasty. Nasty. They put Cheese Whiz on a Cuban? Hell freaking no.
You wouldn't even dare.
No. It's quality Swiss cheese.
I don't think Cheese Whiz has a place in this world anyway, on anything. Not on your crackers, nowhere.
As a child, you get a can, guilty, because I didn't know any better, But as you grow up and it's like you look at that hunk of block of Cheese Whiz.
You mature in your taste buds.
For a little bit of, you want to make nachos and go full block Cheese Whiz, Velveeta block, and the can of, what do they call it? Rotel.
Yeah.
Solid. Always solid for a nacho cheese. But if you're doing like a sandwich, a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, and you're putting Cheese Whiz on it, no, not a player.
Can't do it.
You're not a player.
Can't do it.
All right, take a break. When we come back, we got a lot of content in that first hour, so we may have to double up this break. That means it's going to be like 5-6 minutes, folks, but at least we tell you what's going on. And listen to our great spots. I mean, these people allow you to listen to all content and not have 8-minute commercial breaks like the other station, all right? So thank these people, support them. They're great benefactors of local sports. So listen up. We'll be back. Cheap's going to join us at 11:30, and we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. Set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
Puck down, inside the line, puts it inside for Palat. He scores! Andre Palat takes a bouncing puck and does not dust that one off at all, and he beats the Buffalo netminder to make it 1-0 Lightning.
Courtesy of Bally Sports right there. Dave Rayburn and Brian Engblom on the call last night as the Lightning win 6-1 over the struggling Buffalo Sabres. And the Lightning just continue to cruise, and Kucherov with a hat trick. So good, so skilled. Fun watching that team last night. Welcome back to the second hour of the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at PalermoPA.com. We're going to talk about the Lightning. We'll hear from Steven Stamkos here in a second, kind of break down last night's game. Look forward to a couple of upcoming games this week at Amalie Arena. We got Thursday and Saturday coming up, so I'll be out there looking for you guys. Come say hello. We also want to welcome in a new sponsor to the show. How about this, Nick? We got another new sponsor. Lots of folks jumping on board. What's great about this particular sponsor is they contacted us and said, we listen to the show all the time. We love what you guys talk about, and we want to be a part of it. So we'd like to welcome Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo, PA, Dr. Christopher Lugo, big fan of the show, and we chatted a lot last week. Military guy, really super guy. You're going to love him. We're going to have him on the show. He's going to give you lifestyle tips because his medical practice is not just about dispensing drugs for this or that, the other. He really takes a great approach to look at what your lifestyle is like and how they can change it to make your life richer, healthier, and keep you out of disease. I mean, the best way to be healthy is to not get COVID or not get things. And one thing we've learned from COVID is that if you take care of your body and your immune system and you're not overweight, you can avoid a lot of different maladies. So I'm literally looking forward to have Christopher on the show to share some of his secrets and just his new approach to medicine. They're a very different kind of approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine, not one pill fits all mentality, which is something I love. Very proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise. So rather than that impersonal rushed approach, you're going to be the only patient. You're going to have their full attention. Now, one of the things he does really, really well is anti-aging regenerative medicine, optimizing your body's performance in many areas. As we like to say, getting old is inevitable. Feeling and looking old is avoidable. I wrote that. You like that? I'll say it again. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. So do it. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment, folks. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, emotional stability. Again, not a one-size-fits-all mentality. So many of these testosterone clinics, they use the same approach for the same people, for different people, and it's not good. You need a professional that is really monitoring your blood levels and your testosterone levels to keep it right, change it from time to time, because and when's the last time your testosterone doctor or clinic that you went to changed your formula? It should be changing all the time to reflect what your body's going through. So that's another great thing they do, Dr. Christopher Lugo, PA. So we talked a lot about them, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We welcome to the program, and you can reach them at BAMM.com, and we'll have much more about them. So welcome aboard. All right, back to the Lightning, and we watching the game last night, it was just funny, honestly. It really looked like they were toying with the Sabres, especially a guy by the name of Nikita Kucherov. I thought he played pretty well against Boston as well. Obviously, we didn't get the result we wanted, but his first game back with a couple of assists, probably could have scored a hat trick that night. Last night, the Lightning probably could have scored 10 to 12 goals, but the ease which he plays the game and sees the game and reads the game, we've known this. Isn't it just a little bit more apparent right now? Is he playing better than he ever has?
I think, when you're off for a while and you see him come back in, you notice just how different the team is.
Wow.
You felt the same way in the playoffs, did not?
Yes.
Great point. The first night against Florida, it was like, this guy literally was out for this long. Like, he's this good, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy what he's doing. And not only him, but we talked about Andre Palat a lot last week. And
yeah.
That goal that he scored, another one. You're bouncing puck, two guys caving on you. That's a really hard one to get past the goal.
Yeah.
I think that's 5 goals in his last 4. He's up to 15. He's itching towards a 30-goal season, which would be a career high for him.
And what about Corey Perry? The first 14, 15 games, he had 1 point. He's on fire. He is just, he is a better fit than I thought he was. At first, I'm like, "Ooh, this is a good fit." He seems completely revitalized with the Bolts.
I thought this one was really interesting. When the third line left, everybody was, going crazy. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And that's fair.
Yeah.
They bring in Corey Perry. They bring in Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, 2 guys who are on the back end of their careers. This is crazy to me. They're paying Bellemare, Perry, and Pat Maroon $2.9 million combined, right?
Really?
$2.9 million combined. Coleman, Gordon, and Goodjoe right now are making close to $18 million more, or $18 million combined right now. And the Lightning are number 1 in the NHL and giving up the least amount of goals per 60. It's crazy. They haven't fallen off one bit in the defensive category.
That's GMing right there. Julien Brisebois. We listen, Yzerman built the core of this team. He did a hell of a job. Clearly, you want to talk about a talent evaluator. Look at the guys that he drafted that are starring in other places. We couldn't even keep them. Verhaeghe, Vegas. Name's escaping me, but there are 3 or 4 guys.
Marchessault.
There's about 3 or 4 guys that we couldn't even keep that are leading scorers.
JP Miller,
top 6 guys. Yeah, what you want to talk about a guy that could draft and develop, and the Lightning develop players, and then you see the players that they're Julien Brisebois has brought in from the free agents that he's hit on. My Lord.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest. Most of it comes back. You put talented people who fit certain needs, right? With the Kucherovs, the Stamkoses, the Palats, the headsmen, the core of this team. And this is what you get.
But that's a credit, though, to the Lightning, the culture they built. And I take it back to 2014 when it really started to change. And I don't know if you were back yet around that time, that team that they had in 2014.
No, that was my last year in Atlanta.
Yeah, they brought in veteran Brendan Morrow, a guy who had won Stanley Cups before, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to come play for y'all." He was kind of that first. Every year since then, the Lightning have added a veteran that's won before. Savard, Brian Boyle, Pat Maroon, Chris Kunitz. They have just hit on all these veterans who back in the old days, those guys would be going to the Chicagos of the world to get their last ride. They came to Tampa Bay every single year.
And that's going to keep happening.
And it's happening
more
every
and more
year.
and more. And look, I haven't looked at our cap situation yet, but chances are we're going to add somebody at the deadline that's going to fit in really well with a need that we have. I'm looking at our needs right now, and
I don't know where. I mean, truthfully,
I mess up the chemistry.
Truthfully, you might look at the defensive depth, but honestly, I think Cal Foote is playing a lot better and
Made
better.
A great save last night.
The save of the game last night, clearly. And nobody's really sticking out like the Rudas, the Bogosians. They're all kind of holding their own. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they'll get creative with the cap like they always do, but at the moment, I think the team is good enough to win a Stanley Cup as put.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you think about that. It's like most teams have holes that they have to fix at the deadline. We don't force it, but we stood pat a couple of years ago. That was the Columbus year, right?
Yes.
And so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Let's listen to Stamkos from last night, or if you have another, let's listen to Stamkos.
How good he is. So I know how good he is, and we all know how good he is. We see it every day. So it's, you give him time and space, that's what he's going to do. So that's why he's one of the best in the world.
Hey, go ahead. Hey, Stephen, when you have a game like that and you go out to a big lead, how important is that third period to kind of keep momentum going into the next game?
Yeah, like I said, in between the periods, on the TV there, just go out, play solid hockey, nothing too crazy, play for our goaltender, and just be smart with the puck. And for the most part, I thought we did that. Not often do you have a 5-goal lead going into the third. So try not to have some bad habits. We had a couple turnovers there at the end, but for the most part, I thought it was a pretty solid effort.
I would agree with that, Coach Stammer. Good, just a good all-around game last night, and this team's just going to keep getting better and better because they got a lot of young players. I love the way Kachuk is playing. Matthew Joseph is taking an extra step this year.
Oh, and Radish, by the way, he is so close to really going on like a Ross Colton run from last year.
Yeah,
his shot.
We haven't even had Ross Colton around.
He got back, I think, yesterday. Yeah. But Radish's shot. I mean, he's got a plus shot. Yesterday,
that's legit.
Yesterday, he rung one off the bar a little bit. I mean, as more he gets comfortable, Matt Joseph. I mean, I think they put those guys together yesterday, and they had a lot of speed. So. It's just a perfect storm right now for the Lightning. It really is. It's still right now at the top of the entire NHL, along with Florida and Carolina.
One other hockey note, our stinking Panthers to the south. I mean, this is just so on brand for them, is it not? If you haven't heard this story, or we talked a little bit at the top of the show. So last night, well, you tell the story. You're more in tune with Kodak Black. I have to be honest with you. I did not know there was a rapper.
Didn't know there was a Kodak Black. He's a local guy, I think, too. Remember? I don't know if you don't remember.
From Tampa Bay?
Not from Tampa Bay, but in Florida. I believe. But you don't remember when he was around like the Florida program a few years ago, and Dan Mullen brought him in?
No.
He was in the locker room and all that. He's been to jail a few times.
Has he now?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah, he's been to jail a few times.
Shocking.
But so the Panthers hosted him yesterday at the game.
So they gave him a box?
They gave him a box to be. He was first down around the ice, and then he went up to the box.
They figured we better give him his own box.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea.
Because he's Kodak Black.
Yeah.
And the NHL.
Now, did he have this lovely lady on his arm down by the ice?
He did. He did. Her name is Essence.
Essence. That's a shocking development.
Money sign tattooed right on the ass.
Completely on brand for Panthers in South Florida. Yep. Perfect. Yes.
Yep. And the NHL.
By the way, nothing wrong with it. By the way, nothing wrong with it. They just take a different approach down there than we do at the Lightning.
Yeah. But the NHL saw him down there, posted all about Kodak Black.
I've contacted my Emily Arena Lightning Vision team, and there are no plans to add this to the in-game entertainment, just in case you were wondering. Yeah.
So he makes his way up to the suite, and people on the other side of the stadium are videoing, and it appears he's just, I think that's the part where you could take over right there.
Well, there is there was actually somebody did a story on this, and they sent it to me, and I'll just read this part of it. By then, Florida was up big, cruising to a 5-2 win in front of 15,000. And then
15,000.
And the real fun could begin. In third period, a Twitter user, season ticket holder with the handle David954 Florida, filmed Kodak Black and a woman in, let's just say, a compromising position. Bent over a seat, by the way, right out in full view. With the woman on all fours and Kodak Black gyrating behind her. While the Miami Herald was not able to confirm exactly what actually happened, Bally Sports Florida's Katie Gauss reported, get her on the line. reported both were clothed throughout the duration of the act, and they were just twerking. And the original videographer later tweeted, "They weren't having sex. LOL." Well, I looked at the video, and you know me, I study tape. I study a lot of tape.
You're a professional film watcher.
I am a professional film watcher, and I'm somewhat familiar with this genre, you might say. And from what I could detect, from my bit of research that I've done over the years,
huh?
He's banging her. She has that look on her. Well, and to make the assumption that they're twerking, I don't know. The best part about the video, and I retweeted it. You can't see anything. It's not porn, folks. It's just kind of funny. But the cop walks in, and the cop's got his hands in his pocket, and he didn't stop twerking, and neither did she. Let's just put it that way. They both continued to, quote, twerk. Like he didn't miss a beat. Right on rhythm.
He might kind of enjoying himself, you know?
So how'd that conversation go? You think? You play Kodak, I'll play the cop. So that's what I play on the ID channel. Excuse me, Mr. Kodak or Mr. Black? Mr. Kodak. Can I call you Kodak?
You can call me Black. Call me Black.
I'm uncomfortable with that in the present climate. So I'm going to call you Mr. Kodak if you don't mind. What exactly is going on here? It appears that you may be having sex publicly out in the open here. I'm not sure that's something we were hoping for here in the luxury box.
It's my box though, and I am allowed to do what I want.
So to speak, yes, I guess so. We're still talking about the luxury anyway. So yeah, and okay, well, carry on with the twerking. Enjoy the game. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Woo woo. I mean, he's just like, what's going on?
But you even have the owners right next.
The owner's box is right next to it.
And they're kind of looking over. And I don't think there's a wall there. I don't think there's a wall.
They could clearly see the twerking going on. I love that we can use that phrase for what's actually happening. Do you imagine like Jeff Vinnick, like in his owner's box with Penny and the whole group and the kids and the thing? They've just given a luxury box to Kodak Black. And they're like, hey, Daddy, what's going on over there? What do you think? Is that your friend Kodak? Is that your friend Kodak? But and again, I think very on brand for the Panthers, right? This is why they, we tend to give out $50,000 for the community hero, and we do, stand up salute for the military. Our on brand content is. The great Greg Wolf, by the way, selected the NHL All-Star Game to host that. Congratulations. And very conservative JP Peterson in his nice little, lucky jacket with my little pin, Mr. Important Pants.
Yes.
As the mass holes like to call me, Mr. Important Pants over there. So we're, we kind of stick to the hockey. We hype up the fans, but that's kind of our brand.
Yeah, and they're throwing rats on the ice and having sex in boxes. That's their brand apparently.
It's very Miami.
Yeah,
it's very
it's very fitting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was Sunrise's brand, but
it's all the same.
It's all the same down there.
Yeah, it's all the same down there.
But I tell you, it's a cesspool of the entire state.
Yeah, it's congratulations to the Panthers for getting some good pub out there, and
it's as much pub as they're going to get, honestly.
So, I mean, we have a different type of matter, like Sonia, very, a former Air Force sergeant, very singing the national anthem, and Vo Williams. Vo Williams, I guess, would be our guy, our rapper.
No, let's not put him in the same Kodak.
No. I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. We're on brand with a guy who's really upbeat and doing inspirational songs, and then you have Kodak, the Panthers brand. Oh, there you go. So I think we kind of.
Are you gonna be jamming out some Kodak later? Are you gonna start doing a deep dive into his music?
Can honestly say I've never even heard of the guy.
That's crazy.
Never even heard of the guy.
Tell you what, when I was going to homecoming back in the day, that's all we were bumping in the limo was
really
Kodak. Yeah, that's when he came out. He was like 17 years old. We were 17 years old.
He's been bumping in the limo, I bet, and the luxury box. Mm-hmm. I just love the story on this is fun. You think we can get Katie Gauss on? Can you maybe towards the end of the show?
I think we can arrange that maybe.
Valley Sports, Katie. I got some contacts at Valley Sports, right? So I work for them, and we can get to the bottom of this because clearly she's done some investigation. We'll see if we can get her on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's. I think we've covered Essence and Kodak Black.
Yeah, we've done our due diligence here on this for sure. For sure.
I mean, let's think about that. Like in the last week, I've learned so much about rap. The Pit and the Palace.
The Pit and the Palace.
Obviously, Rojo's favorite song now. Do I need to ask Arians about that today?
I don't think you can get the answer you're looking for, but
yeah. Coach, what do you think about the Pit and the Palace? Like, what is that one of your go-tos now? Is that on your playlist when you're pregame, Coach? Where are you at with Pit and the Palace? Evidently, Rojo loves it. But so I've learned a lot about AB's aspiring rap career.
Yeah, with Yee.
With Yee. That's right. With Yee.
You didn't know who Yee was.
No, I did not know who Yee was. I thought it was a new, but it's Kanye.
It's Kanye.
Why is it not Ye? Because it was Kanye.
It might be Ye. I don't
is
know.
It Ye?
I'm not the rap aficionado here.
On this show, you are. Shows where
I
we're
don't
at.
know. It's probably Ye. I don't know.
Well, to be consistent, it would be Ye.
Then it's Ye.
It's Ye. And also you have the double meaning of Ye. So I guess that's good. So Kanye and AB are teaming up now.
Yes.
And
they're collabing. Get with the program.
Collab. All right, it's collab going on. So shouldn't we get Essence and Toilet Liquor together? What's her name?
Ava Louise.
Ava Louise. Look, you look at you. You got the roster. You got the roster of rappers' girl. You don't even know rappers. You know the rappers' girlfriends. So shouldn't they like collab? Toilet Liquor and Essence should collab with AB and Kodak Black. I think we got something here, bro. And they could do like a Panthers anthem.
God, could you imagine that music video?
Yeah. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And it's certainly on brand for the Panthers. Perfectly. Like that would be their open for our when we have hopefully we'll play them in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
And we'll have Vo doing his inspirational great stuff that he does. And they'll have Essence, Ava Louise.
We'll have
Toilet Liquor,
and Tesla coils.
And they'll have AB doing the Pit and the Palace, like mix with what's Kodak's go-to?
AB's from there, isn't he? Too?
That's right. Yes. Right on brand.
This is perfect.
Oh,
this
dude.
is perfect.
I'm producing this whole thing. I better get a cut of this. Just produce the whole thing there for you. That's and then the Panthers can do that as their hype video. They can give Kodak a box and AB and bring them all together in the box.
Yeah,
and they can do like a whole show before the game.
Yeah, Kodak I got it
right next
here.
to the owner's box.
Kodak's from Pompano Beach.
There you go.
Let's group it all in together.
South
right there.
Florida.
There you go.
This is South Florida royalty, is what I like to call it. Right there. South Florida royalty.
Yeah.
I think they would go nuts for that. That is so on brand for South Florida.
I'm just saying, when the show ends, you need to go listen to No Flockin'.
No Flockin'?
No Flockin'.
Can we pull up No Flockin'?
We come out of maybe that's how we should greet Chief when he comes on.
Oh,
no Flockin' going.
I said Chief the whole story. No response. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're on Howard Stern and Novak Djokovic now. This is another good one you got to hear about. We don't talk a lot of NBA, but I'm becoming a huge Ja Morant fan. I like this guy. So we may even sneak in NBA in the ratings for the College Football National Championship rating. Interesting. Stay with us. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business.
Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. JP here from my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grove, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on. Welcome back. FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by many of our great sponsors, including the Golden Diamond Source. The post-Christmas sales, always amazing over at the Golden Diamond Source. They have 0% financing up to 5 years. The best selection, Steve and Julie Weintraub, of course, selecting the best diamonds. And they always have them on display and in stock. You don't have to wait for anything to be delivered. And, of course, they are the greatest benefactors in the community, very philanthropic. We appreciate them supporting the community, so support them as well. Go on over and check out their incredible collection. It's a toy store of jewelry. You will love it. So many great, unique things. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road in Clearwater, always online at thegoldendiamond.com. All right, let's bring in our good friend Bobby the Chief Taylor, who was watching that demolition of the Buffalo Sabres last night with glee, I'm sure, 6-1. What's up, Chief? How are you?
I'm doing great, JP. Yeah, it was something last night, though. But, you know, the interesting thing about it, if you really take a look and dissect that game, Bassey only had 18 shots. So it's never the amount that you make, it's when you make them.
Right.
And when it was 2-0, remember that Buffalo had two breakaways that he made a save on. He had a guy come right up the middle, went right through the whole team, he took the shot, and then Victor Hedman made the save.
Yep.
You know, before on an open net.
Yep.
And then Cal Foote also knocked one away.
Yeah.
Had Buffalo scored in any of those, it could have been a different outcome. But he weathered the storm and then just completely dominated after that.
Leave it to Chief the goalie in a 6-1 rout to talk about the goalie. I mean, in the defense. But you're spot on. You're spot on, because it looked like a blowout because of those great saves. And that's, you know, and that's been the formula for how long for the Lightning to win games? Forever.
Yeah, quite a while. I mean, honestly, they do a really good job. But what really kind of concerns me as we go along is the number of real high danger chances that they give up. And I know they talked about it a little bit. I think, you know, they don't really dwell on it because I'm sure they do in behind closed doors. But man, there's so many of those high danger shots that he really takes control of. And a lot of times, that's the big difference between them and any other team in the league.
Well, you know, it's
They've
interesting.
got number 88 in the net.
Yeah, it's interesting, Chief, you say that, because on Saturday, you know, he wasn't at his best. Pasta got one where Vasily wasn't really looking and didn't expect him to shoot right off the bat, and Boston got out. He probably gave up, you know, those goals. I'd probably say 3 of them he'd want back. And that, so to your point, when he's not being Vassy, the Lightning do struggle, and that was a perfect example.
Yeah, like that first goal, everybody, it glanced off Schuster's skate.
Yeah,
right. You know, but you know he's so good that usually he can recover because it was from quite a ways out where that play occurred. But I think that, you know, the funny thing about goaltending is, and then sometimes it looks like it's really soft, sometimes it looks like it's really hard. If you don't pick up the puck when it's coming off the stick, you really have a tough time to get there, because it's a position where there's so much traffic in front of you. There's so many deflections, because that's basically how guys score. It's either on deflections or screenshots. And if a goalie sees it in this league, 99.9% of the time, they're going to make that save.
Yeah.
Unless it's a tremendous shot. And, you know, when Ed hit Schuster in the skate, geez, he doesn't look like he's really sharp yet tonight. And that's probably the difference. But, you know, I mean, he was really on last night against Buffalo. Oh, wow. I'm telling you, I mean, 18 shots doesn't sound like a whole lot, but boy, he had some tough ones, real tough ones.
Yeah, and it's just, you always know when he loses a game that I feel sorry for the team he plays the next game. It's just, he's he's so freaking locked in. It's unbelievable. But again, off a hat trick and maybe could have scored 5 or 6. The team, when he is on the ice, I don't know why it just is more apparent since he's come back, Chief, but to me, it just looks like he's as good as he's ever been, like maybe better than he's ever been. It just
by far.
Is it?
You know what he does too? You know what, JP? He's so good that he's on the ice with them, pay much more attention of what they have to do because, he's such a great passer. He sees the ice so much.
Yeah.
He knows where guys are going to go before they do. And, I talk so much about passing through traffic. Like I said, Brad Richards was really great, and Cooch, I think, might be better. But you know what he is even more? He's a lot like Wayne Gretzky, where Gretzky always knew where you were going to go or where the puck was going to go before it even got there. Their anticipation, as they call it now, hockey IQ, is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're on the ice with him, you've got to really pay attention to what's going on and be ready for anything. And when you watch him out there when he's on a line, even with some guys that don't play regularly with him, they're very aware. And that's the thing that is incredible to me, how he makes everybody so much sharper mentally, let alone physically, when he's on the ice with them. And that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's so well said. And I think it was Brian or Dave last night who said, one thing that Kucherov tells the guys on the ice is, hey, don't come towards me. Just get open. Go to the net, and I'll find you. And that must be a great way to play hockey. Is like, all I got to do is go to the net and put my stick down. I'll probably get a goal. That can make me a lot of money. I think I can play with him.
No kidding. I know. It's just you get open. I'll know where you are because he sees how the play's forming. And I don't know. There's just a handful of athletes in every sport that are able to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me. They know what you're going to do before you do. That's crazy.
Yes. Yeah, those are the great ones, the ones that transcend, no doubt about it. They're just so far ahead. The game slows down for them, and they're 2 steps ahead of you. And just watching him do this, we missed him. But, boy, this team right now, I think you mentioned there, but that's kind of been their way, kind of regular season when they're hitting on all cylinders like this and they got everybody back, is they tend to be a little lax on defense, let Vass do his thing, and then they score a lot of goals. We don't want to fall into that because we know that's not necessarily, what wins in the playoffs, but it's nice to know you got it whenever you can get it. And Stamkos, Chief, talk about Stammer's revitalization here and what is this, year 14 for him? Maybe having one of his best seasons, I think, in the last 5 or 6. He's healthy. His shot is spot on. It's powerful. He looks as good as I've seen him in maybe 5 or 6 years. Your thoughts?
Oh, I agree. And I think I would say 80% of it is because he's finally healthy.
Yes.
And, if you remember way back in the start of the year when he was really starting to play well and think about it. Here's a guy that really kind of offensively carried this team when we had Point and Cooch out.
Yep.
I think he got his 17th last night.
Yes. Yeah.
And
6th in the league, I think that is.
Yeah, and he was in the top 5 in scoring there for the longest time. Now I still think he's in the top 10, but he was carrying this team offensively. And he even said, he says, this is one of the first summers in a long time where he only had to work to get in shape and to get in condition rather than to rehab an injury.
Right.
And that's a big difference, as you well know.
Yeah.
Getting in shape to get in shape, not just to rehab an injury, is so much more intense. It makes you feel so much better than just rehabbing. And so because you can go at it harder and you can get at your top condition quicker. So I think that's a big part of his success. But I think we kind of forgot how an elite athlete he was because of those injuries.
Absolutely.
Now that he's healthy, he's showing everybody again that he's still an elite hockey player.
Bobby the Chief Taylor joining us here, Valley Sports Sun and Lightning Radio analyst. All right, so they got Vancouver coming in. They just went to Bruce Boudreau, and they lost their first game in regulation under him last night at Florida. They were 8-0-1 until last night. And the shenanigans that went on there. We can talk about that in a second. But this Vancouver team coming in has been on a roll, and it's basically with the same players. It'll be an interesting game for the Lightning on Thursday night.
Yeah. You know what? It just shows you. I mean, I always said that, coaching is probably the most underrated thing in sport. And for me, I think with Boudreau coming in there, he just changed their philosophy. A lot of times, like, Green is a good coach, and he came out of a system that really put the emphasis on defensive hockey. And Boudreau, when he was a player, and he was, he was really a great minor league player and a part-time NHL player back when in the day there wasn't as many teams that he could go to. But he was a great offensive player. He was a very big goal scorer and a very creative forward. I think he's allowing this team to be much more creative offensively. And of course, Markstrom, their goaltender, has just been having an outstanding year. So he's kind of like a Vasi in a sense that when they do get a little bit too offensive minded and forget their other end, Markstrom's bailed them out a few times. And the guy, JT Miller, the old Lightning player, is supposed to be having a tremendous year. And it'd be interesting to watch and see him come back into town as well. Yeah,
absolutely. We were just talking about that. Is like, look at all these guys that, and I know he didn't draft JT Miller, but he was here and he developed under the Lightning's tutelage and the way we've developed, players. You look at Marchessault, Verhaeghe. I mean, how many players around the league are top six forwards and couldn't even, we couldn't keep them. I mean, the talent that Yzerman brought in, his eye for talent, and the way the Lightning develop young players, we're seeing it now with Radish and Tkachuk. I think Radish is, we were talking about his shot earlier. That's elite. I mean, the talent just keeps on coming out of this organization.
Yeah, the scouting staff and the director of amateur scouting, and they've just done a tremendous job. They have a formula in what they look for. And think about it. These guys are drafting, probably from 27 all the way up to 32. If they do have a number one pick. And, if you take a look at a lot of our great players are all third rounders or fourth rounders. Gooch was a second rounder, and the first rounders were no brainers in Hedman and Stamkos. And the best first rounder, in my mind, obviously, when they took him with an 18th pick, was Vasi. Yeah. Because I can remember that draft like it was yesterday, and I saw him in that World Junior Championship, and this kid was incredible. And the only reason why Russia even got to the middle round was because of him. And we had 2 first rounds that year, and we took Cuckoo the first round with about the 10th pick, I believe. And then we had the 18th pick, and they took Vasi. Well, I almost broke out the trumpet, and I don't play the trumpet, blowing the horn and jumping up and down the champagne. We got a tremendous one, and it turned out that it was. And so when you're drafting that low, you got to really do your homework on them. And I think they look for the competitiveness in a guy, the how much he is a team player, and they haven't missed too many times. They're the second, third, all the way down to 6th round picks have been very, very good for them, and they've developed them. That's another thing. Yes. They get good coaches that started with Coop when he was in Virginia, and then to Syracuse now that Benoit Gruel is developing them from now on too. So the whole system that was built under Yzerman has really worked out well. And Julian Brisebois is just, you can't underestimate how much of a value he's done. And look at those trades that he's made. Everybody's saying, you're trading all these draft picks. Well, you know what? One of the things, those draft picks haven't been earth-shattering players. Right. In other organizations, but we've drafted for players that has won us 2 straight Stanley Cups, and that's pretty special in my mind.
That's the best you can do as a GM, right? And you go out and fill the holes that we needed. Yep. And we've talked about this many times. And as great as Yzerman was, sometimes you get a little bit of, these are your guys. You want to stick with your guys, and it takes maybe another pair of eyes to say, I think we need to add a little bit of grit, a little bit of this, a little bit of that to get us over the top. Kind of like what John Gruden did with Tony Dungy's teams. And that's that's what it took. And boy, he executed it to perfection. Do you think, speaking of that, if there's anything the Lightning could add at the deadline, I mean, situations could change, more injuries could pop up, but if the deadline were this week, is there a weakness on this team that you see that you would try to address?
Well, not if we stay healthy.
Right.
That's
right.
the only thing. Yeah, I'm really liking this team right now.
Yeah.
I think that the I call it the golden age line. With Belmar, Maroon, and Perry.
Yeah.
They've really started to come alive. Perry set up Cooch there for a beautiful goal.
Oh.
I mean, this guy still has the touch offensively. The kids have developed well. And one of the things, too, is when we get healthy, we're going to have some major decisions to make. But what's really good about it, in my mind, JP, is the fact that, come March and April, they've got something like 31 games in that 2 months thing that was previously scheduled. It might be adjusted as we're going Olympics. That was every second day. So these kids that having to play now because of the injuries to the top players, when they get back in the lineup, these guys have already got their seasoning, so to speak, that they know how to play. We've seen them. They've been impressive for us. So if we do get other injuries down the road, these guys can jump into it. And that, I think it's been a blessing in disguise, actually, sometimes because of these injuries. We've only, what have we had? 2 games with our full complete lineup this year?
Yeah.
So that's been a blessing in disguise because, when you're playing that many games, something's got to happen. And these guys are going to be jumping in, and it's going to be a seamless transition most times. And that's going to be a real positive thing for the Lightning when they get down to the nitty-gritty and making that final run to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chief, you're one of the best analysts in the business. Your partners at Bally Sports on the Panthers broadcast probably had an awkward moment last night, as we've talked about it on the show. A local rapper down there, Kodak Black, was evidently, quote, twerking with a lovely young lady in a luxury box during the game. Right next to the owner's box. Interesting. But I said, you know what? That's very on brand for the stinking Panthers. South Florida, it's kind of it's a different place. So I like what they're adding to their in-game entertainment down there. We're not going to do it in Amalie. I think we're all full that we got good stuff, but I don't know if you want to break down that whole situation there, but I think we're good.
I think so too. I've never seen a guy twerk. I've only seen girls twerk. I've never seen a guy twerk. So that's the funniest part about that whole situation.
He wasn't twerking. All right. All right, Chief. We'll see you at the game on Thursday night, partner.
You got it, bud.
Thanks.
Take care.
The great Bobby, the Chief Taylor right there. There's a professional broadcaster that knows when to dive in and when not to. Clearly, I do not have the same discipline as that man right there. All right, we will take our final break, 3-minute break, and when we come back, we'll wrap everything up. I got to get to the Howard Stern, Novak Djokovic. Sorry, we got some other interesting audio, too, I believe, that Nick's going to share with us. So the funny stories, the good ones, coming up next. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It's a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop
on the Florida Swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. We thank our title sponsor, Christopher Palermo, who will also be very much in the fight coming up with the Save Our Rays full season, folks. He is going to be a very prominent figure in our new fan initiative called Save Our Rays full season. That's the hashtag, and we're going to have a website and Facebook page so you guys can join up with us as we organize and mobilize to fight this sister city plan, make our voices heard. Also, we thank our good friend Scott Fitzgerald from American Mortgage Services of Tampa. Scotty is awaiting your email, scott@amstampa.com. Rates have gone up this week, very volatile. Been thinking about refinancing or you're buying a new house, give Scotty a call. Even if you've got a loan going with somebody else, he will save you thousands and thousands of dollars. He'll pay for your appraisal if you mention the JP Show, which will save you $500 to $700. So if you've been thinking about getting that cash out, by the way, he'll tell you how much your house is worth and really tell you how much it's worth, not some of these online things that are very accurate. He knows the market very, very well. He will shop your mortgage around, get you a low rate, the lowest rate, no upfront fees. He's going to pay for your appraisal. So to get that money out, it's not going to cost you as much, and you can lower your payment by maybe hundreds and hundreds of dollars, pay off some other higher interest rate things like your car payment. Really, he will help you get all of your finances in line. This is what we hear from all the folks that do business with Scott. It's not just about getting you a mortgage. It's about making you very healthy financially in the best position that you can be. And now with that equity in your house, take advantage of it. So just email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. All right, we need to update this. Bucs practice this morning. Levante David was not out there.
No, Levante David, Cyril Grayson, and JPP were not out there. Levante was designated to return from practice today, so he's in that window where he could if he wants to. Fournette was out there doing some light jogging, and Shaq Barrett was out there. I don't think he was doing any drills, but he was out there, but he had a brace on his knee, of course.
Yeah, sprained MCL, ACL. He'll probably wear a brace throughout the playoffs if he can play. It's a matter of degrees and a matter of pain. And the problem with that is, though, the knee is destabilized. Yeah. And when the knee is destabilized, there's obviously more, you're more likely to injure it further. Yeah. And, so you're taking a risk in that way, but it's all about degrees. If you guys, Rondé played a whole season on a torn MCL. Well, Brady did last year. ACL is a little trickier. So, it's going to be something they're going to have to manage.
Yeah. And Levante David not being out there, certainly not the best of signs this close to the game. I'm sure we'll get more info maybe from Bruce here at 12:15.
Yes. We'll get on there and we'll ask him some questions. I'm sure they'll cover that. But I just, Levante David not being out there with a foot injury, and he's had 3 weeks off?
Yeah.
That's not a good sign, obviously. And if he doesn't play, it's
oh boy.
Yeah. Boy, Devin White, you got to step up. Let me ask you this. This kid Britt.
Yeah, KJ Britt.
I like him. He's fast, he's aggressive. Kevin Minter is obviously, a veteran, and he's played well in spots, but yeah, he just looks a little bit slower this year and not as effective.
Yeah, I think if a lot of people are bringing that up, would you give Britt more playing time?
Not saying start him.
No, but
spot him.
I can't see Bruce Arians doing it though.
Not in this moment.
The veterans are the big key here, and
they can't afford one mental mistake out the gate.
I think the mistakes you're going to get out of Mentor are going to be a lot, maybe less harmful than the ones that Britt's going to give you.
I would agree with that.
But yeah, Mentor, he's been a nice def linebacker for a few years here, but he's older. He's a little bit older now.
Yeah. So that's going to equalize things tremendously. Gio Bernard may be back as well. Leonard Fournette, we got to get Fournette back, because we talked about this yesterday with Rojo, tweeting out the pit and the palace. Any more come from that?
No, we had nothing from Rojo.
Okay. Just very, very disappointing. I just don't think the Bucs trust him at this point. But we'll see. Well, we'll see what Bruce has to say about it today. Do we have time for the angry Howard Stern?
Yes, we do.
Novak Djokovic, very interesting story going on with Novak. He, let's listen to this audio. This is angry Howard Stern, Corona brother, doing his thing that he normally does. This is angry. It's very angry.
As long as you bring up tennis, that fucknut name is, I don't even, Joker.
Could be a few more of those.
The Joker. I call him the Joker. What a fucking asshole.
Everybody else, Howard. You didn't call
they do? Do they really? I've never. The first I heard of this guy is that he doesn't want to get his vaccine and he's running around. Nobody's clear what his stat. They should throw him right the fuck out of tennis. That's it.
His status is that he had COVID at the very beginning of COVID. He got
and who knows? He could be lying.
No, he actually did have it and had to sit out some games. And his wife got it as well.
That's enough. This is a guy that has done everything right. He's given up all his personal information, put it before the board. They accepted it as a medical exception to the vaccine rule. This guy has natural immunity, obviously is in tip-top shape, is in no danger. He will be tested every single day for COVID, and he's tested before he comes in. And you're telling me that he is in some way a threat to public health. That in no way is that scientific at all. None whatsoever. He doesn't have COVID. He's not bringing it in. He's been tested. He's going to be out on a court, socially distanced from everyone else. What's the problem?
And
by the way, vaccine, this is now settled science. 145 countries reporting, much data. You are more likely to get Omicron if you are vaccinated. That is now a scientific fact. So think about that, Howard Stern.
And ironically, he used the shut up and dribble card at the end.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Tennis player.
He went on to say too, unless you're talking to me about tennis, keep your trap shut.
That's so stupid. Yeah. So stupid. I guarantee you, Novak Djokovic knows a hell of a lot more about his body and COVID and being healthy and immune systems than Howard Stern. But this type of continued witch hunt based on zero science is ridiculous. Oh, and well, we don't need to get into any more of that. We will thank Bruce Gradkowski. Great segment today as he broke down all the quarterback matchups in the playoffs. Go back and check that out on the app or any of the places, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you can watch us. The Chief was awesome, as always. If you didn't hear our segment on Kodak Black and the Panthers' new on-brand entertainment in the arena, that was magical. And we thank all of our guests and everybody, and great job, Nick Geddes, as well. We'll be back tomorrow. Every day, 10 o'clock to noon, the best 2 hours of local sports talk you will get. See you then.